Let's get into number 8. We're going to spend a little bit more time with number 8 because that's right. Flexible neural electronics. Flexible neural electronics. Better engineered circuits to interface with the nervous system. This is exactly what you are thinking it is. This one has to do with BMI, and I'm not talking about body mass index. Trust me, I know all about BMI. A little high on the BMI, if you know what I mean. But this is about BMI, which is brain-machine interface. And we see things like Synchron, BlackRock Neurotech, and of course Neuralink. That's basically what that is attaching sensors, wires, and a device to the brain to connect in that type of way. So Synchron, BlackRock Neurotech, Neuralink, there's other ones out there. Those are the 3 most well-known. But basically this is about making those more advanced. This is again like the batteries, making them flexible, where basically you take the hard material and it allows full motion in it. So they talk about in the report with the BMI about how as we grow, we move and whatnot. The brain, of course, if people don't realize the brain, if you go like this with your head, your brain is also doing that inside your skull. That's why they always say, the hard rockers who headbang all the time, they're pretty much brain dead because their brain keeps smacking against their skull like a basketball. Can't say I haven't done that a few times, just saying. But basically they're talking about, if you stick a hard thing in the brain and you're or attached to your skull or whatever, and your brain starts moving around, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to feel it there. It's not going to move naturally with the brain. It's going to hit up against the skull and whatnot, and it's going to be uncomfortable to do. And so what they're trying to do is just like the battery, they're trying to make this hard object a flexible thing that can just lay against it, so it moves, bends, contorts all naturally with how the human would do. So they're trying to advance this BMI stuff. Now, I want to read the whole WEF report on this one specifically so we get a scope of exactly what's going on with this. So I want to read this thing. Might be a little bit small for you guys. I apologize for that. I do the best I can, but just give me 1 second. All right, I'll read it for you guys. Like I said, I think this one's important to do is this. So, in recent years, brain-machine interfaces, BMIs, have gained visibility, igniting collective imaginations regarding the power and potential of one day controlling machines with thoughts. Controlling machines with thoughts. That's right. You heard it first. That's what they're trying to do. BMIs allow electrical signals the brain produces to be captured by sensor hardware, and algorithms then decode these electrical signals into instructions that a computer can understand and execute. BMI-like systems are already used to treat patients with epilepsy and in neuroprosthetics. Prosthetic limbs use electrodes to interface with the nervous system. So basically what they're trying to do with this is make it so you have basically telepathic ability with the devices they attach, by attaching it to not only your brain but also your nervous system. So whatever you're telling your brain to do, the device is going to do as well. We're seeing this essence of transhumanism coming into place. And Matt, yeah, you're right. You're making RoboCop pretty much. Despite initial successes, there are challenges to these technologies. Current implants used by doctors are made of hard materials, like the chips inside a laptop or a phone, and they can trigger long-term scarring and cause substantial discomfort. Like we were saying, it doesn't move with the brain, it starts banging around, and all that. They cannot bend or adapt to brain movements, so over time they drift in position, decreasing the accuracy of the captured signals. Non-invasive methods, like electrodes placed on the outside of the skull, do not require surgical implantation, but provide only muffled, difficult to decode signals, like listening to a person talk through a thick face mask. Interesting wordage there on that. 2020. I don't know how many times I had to keep saying, huh? What? Can you repeat that? Can't hear you. It's like you got something on your face. But basically what it's talking about is even the stuff like what Nita Farahani was talking about, headbands and stuff, that's not enough for them. They need to be able to get it in there. Of course, they don't really go in depth on like the smart dust and whatnot. We're not going to talk about that, but that is definitely something they're working on as well. Researchers have recently developed brain interfacing circuits on biocompatible materials that are soft and flexible. Flexible circuits can conform to the brain, reducing scarring and sensor drift, and they can be packed with enough sensors to stimulate millions of brain cells at once, vastly outperforming the scale and time frame of hard probes. When used in neuroscience research, flexible BMIs could deepen understanding of neurological conditions such as dementia and autism. This is where they start getting into the golden boy. You know, we're trying to make your life better. We're trying to make the blind see, the lame walk. They're trying to push that along. Again, we're seeing they're trying to be more like God. They're trying to apply that transhuman type of stuff in there. So they want to do it through we're trying to help people. In actuality, they're really trying to achieve godlike ability, and we'll talk about that in a second. But in the clinic, getting back to this article, flexible BMIs could provide greater control of neuroprosthetics without requiring frequent recalibration. Applications of flexible BMIs are already undergoing U.S. Food and Drug Administration. It's already there. Approved clinical trials, rapidly making this technology a reality. It's not science fiction, guys. It's here. In the future, other implantable devices, such as cardiac pacemakers, could be adopted with similar materials. And then finishing it off, it says, looking forward, advances in materials, manufacturing, and soft circuit printing could further improve flexible BMI technologies, eventually leading to true human AI interfacing. As with many emerging technologies, broad ethical issues must be considered prior to the wide implementation of these interfaces. Potential health outcomes must be balanced with public acceptance and trust. Further, given the sensitive nature of brain-derived data, privacy and ethical use guidelines must establish how these data can be used in the short, medium, and long term. Right there, though, leading to true human AI interfacing. That is a big one, guys. That is your transhumanism. That is the combining, the melding of iron and clay. That is trying to mold man with machine to reach God-like status. That is what they're attempting to do with this. These flexible BMI devices can be used in both wearables and implants. So they're specifically talking about using this flexible stuff for implants, but it can be used for wearables as well. You talk about putting it on your clothes and your pants, the Smarty pants. They can put that in there as well and be doing that, giving use to many different ways of reaching transhumanism and, of course, the dystopian tracking that we talk about all the time. Now, to give an idea of how far this Internet of Bodies type of stuff goes, so if we go to the I was going to say pentagram, which kind of fits, but Pentagon backed Rand project, who's that leads on all this stuff, you can get an idea of exactly the breakdown of what wearable Internet of Body devices are. Cochlear implants, depression headset, augmented reality contact lens, not even a goggle, but a contact lens, wearable UV monitor, pacemaker, electronic tattoo, microchip implant, smartphone with their health apps, prosthetic limbs, self-lacing shoes. I mean, you want to talk about Back to the Future 2, when he puts on those sneakers that self-lace like that. I mean, even stuff like temperature sensing pacifiers for your baby, anti-drowning monitor, sleep tracking onesie, Bluetooth connected diaper. Yeah, Bluetooth connected diaper for real. Wearable baby monitor. And it just keeps going and going and going. We're not going to go through everything, but you can see just how deep these wearables go. Now wait until they start putting all that stuff into humans and then having this telepathic type connection with them to make you the AI human interface, bringing it all together, man and machine, melding them together, iron and clay. We're seeing this happen. Many of these tools are being designed to bypass, and this is from their report, many of the tools are being designed to bypass the nervous system entirely to control the implanted limb or even cochlear implant. We start to think, at least I do, I don't know about you guys, but we start to think, who's in control? Who's actually in control of this implant? I mean, we're talking about how they have backdoor access to all of our devices already. Why wouldn't they have backdoor access to the different devices in us, including the ones that get put into the brain? So backdoor access along with AI can give Big Brother sight or even control of your body, or at least part of it. And if the demon is controlling the AI, it's now demonic intelligence. Does that give them access into whatever device is actually in the person? And that's the part of the telepathic aspect of BMIs. That's the only way that they can describe these type of things. Is it's like having telepathy for the devices on your body, because you're not sitting there, like pressing a button. If you got a robotic arm, you're not sitting there like pushing, buttons to make it work. You're just thinking and it's doing. They want to bypass the nervous system to be able to do that, and that's what they're working on right now. According to the Pentagon, supported Rand again. This is a quote from Rand that says humans, and pay attention to this now. I want you guys to hear this. This is a quote from Rand, who's working on all of this stuff. Pay attention. This is their quote. Humans can be trained to control all sorts of external devices, such as movement of a computer mouse, robotic arms, and drones. Without even using your hands, you will be able to think and control through it. Now, if that's connected to their system, and we're talking about implanting memories and reading thoughts, who's to say that they don't have backdoor access to do that? Again, this is not science fiction. This is not a movie, a comic book, a video game. This is reality. And I'm not saying this to freak you guys out. I'm not saying this to stir fear. I'm not saying this as a sensationalist type of thing. You know me. I'm very anti-sensationalist and clickbait and all that stuff. I hate it. But this is really what is happening. This technology is here. They are working on it even further. And this is definitely, in my opinion, going to be used somewhere in that Antichrist beast system, somehow. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know where and how and what all it's going to do. I'm not going to do that, but they're working on this for a reason. And we know that there's going to be a deception coming. And something I've always talked about, something I've always warned, is even the deception now is at a level that I don't think we truly even understand. And so I look at this stuff, and again, as a Christian, I'm not worried. I'm not panicked. I have absolutely no fear. I'm actually sitting here completely relaxed because I know that none of this stuff can happen without the permission from our Almighty God that's in full control of all of this stuff. There's not a thing to worry about with this. And in my opinion, before any of this is even implemented, he's going to pull us out of here. He's going to pull his church out of here, and we don't have to worry about a thing. So that's where I stand on all of this type of stuff with what they're trying to do with molding man and machine and all of this. This, again, is about merging us together, iron and clay, to create transhumans, which, if we look scripturally, is about, again, becoming gods. It's about getting back to Babel, getting back to the Tower of Babel, where the whole point was, well, we can be our own gods. Let us build a tower for us. And so that's why the Lord had to scramble, babble the language, is because it warns that with one world language, we can accomplish anything. And so he scrambled the languages, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to create, again, one language. If you've got language translator implanted in your brain and you can hear and understand as well as speak any possible language, you've created a one world language again, and now you're back to Babel again. Satan has always been trying to get back there. He's always been trying to get us back to that point. And they're trying to do it through technology with transhumanism. Noah Yuval Harari, Klaus Schwab, Uncle Klaus, Musk, Peter Thiel, those two guys at the Center for Humane Technology, Nita Farahani, and others, they've all used this terminology about becoming godlike through technology. They have all used that terminology before. Godlike technology. We can be like gods. We will have the power of gods. All of them have used those terms. They're all trying to get back there. That just shows you who's really in control of all this technology. That shows what Satan's plan is. Getting back to the Tower of Babel. That's why I talk so much about the Tower of Babel, because that's what Satan's trying to do. He's trying to get us back there. His tactics have not changed. His target has not changed. He's trying to get back there. And so we're seeing that with this technology. We're seeing that with this technology, trying to create transhumans. Godlike technology. And a lot of these people will use religious aspects to claim that that's what God wants us to do. And again, that stems from Gnosticism, which again, that takes us back to Eden again. Satan is an old dog. He doesn't have new tricks. He's always doing the same thing. And it hasn't changed from Eden to now.